2020. Are you ready?
Well, after 5 exciting rounds of the Rich Energy British Mini Bikes Championship, we move to the finale here at Teeside. Join me, Chris Sora, for all of the afternoon's action, where we have already had some champions crowned, of course, at Wilton Mill. But here at Teeside, there are some very close championship races. Some of them could even go down to the very last lap of the race. Plenty of action in store here at Teeside. Join us here at Alpha Life for all of the action. And speaking of Harley McCabe, it's all got a bit excited outside of the commentary booth here. You can see the shouts of his pit crew and team as they congratulate him back into the paddock. So we move on, though, of course, to pit bike stock 140, and let's see how they line up for race number 1. Billy Pearson will lead them away from Rhys Stevenson, unidentified rider in 3rd from Jim Lovell. Ryan Tyers in 5th, Chase Collymore in 6th position. John Buckle 7th from Mick Lord, Michael Med and Daniel Pearson rounding out the top 10. Matt Davis qualified 11th from Joe Milnes. 13th was Ben Ray from Ben Nixon, Chris Greaves, Sebastian Barron in 16th place, Scott McGibbon and Jake Hopper in 18th place. 19th for Joe Woodward, Ian Rogerson in 20th place, and a bit further back we have Tommy Fielding 22nd, Brett Neesham 23rd. And a bit further back, of course, in this big group, of course, Group B and Group A effectively racing together, you would say. Nathan Smith, 25th, Danny Cohen, Dom Herbertson, Charlie Hopkins, 28th, Michael Thompson in 29th from Matt Lockyer. Stephen Tempest qualified 32nd from Darren Hall, Lee Dodson, Lewis McKay, 35th from Michael Bowes, 36th position. Robert Med, 37th, Dan Merrin, Jake Marsh, Ben Pearson taking us down to 40th place, Mark Johnston and Ian Gamble, I believe, is a non-starter, and we certainly pass on our best wishes to Ian Gamble, who took a tumble this morning. Big group of riders in this race, and much like the 160s, this race, normally we have the Group B and Group A races, so these riders racing together, slightly lower entry than normal, so it'll warrant one race, but with a lot of riders out there, so the first half lap will be very important indeed. In terms of the championship, this is another battle between Jim Lovell and Ryan Tyers. A little less close cut, you might say, than the 160s. Jim Lovell on 420 points. Ryan Tyers on 407. Mick Lord on 353 points in 3rd. Mathematically still in contention, but really would rely on Jim Lovell and Ryan Tyers dropping points. Ben Lord in 4th on 317. Chase Collymore rounds out the top 5 on 289 points. So yet again, this could be a fight for the title between Jim Lovell and Ryan Tyers. It looks like the riders are in position. And looking out the window here at the commentary booth, the skies have greyed a bit now. It's the winds have picked up. Will the weather play a factor as away we go? Good start there from Billy Pearson through the chicane for the first time. Look how close it is in the midfield. One rider goes onto the grass. Now, was that might have been Ben Lord, actually, trying to get the number on that bike. May well have been Lord hitting trouble there on the chicane for the first time as they make their way down the back straight, as Billy Pearson on the 53 looked very quick indeed in qualifying on what was a treacherous circuit, and gets to the front nice and early. Good start here, everyone piling through. Look how busy it is, and lots of action through the field. So here we go, Pearson down the back straight for the first time. Jim Lovell 97, of course, looking to try and pull away, get enough points. 13 points, of course, between Jim Lovell and Ryan Tyers. So realistically, if Ryan Tyers can stick with Jim Lovell, it would keep the championship going into the final race. But, well, we shall wait and see, because there's still a long way to go in this race. 8 laps on this big Teeside circuit. There we see John Buckle. I think that might be Lord behind, actually, so he certainly stayed out of trouble on the first lap. Ryan Tyers, I believe, has taken the lead. Now, that could be important in terms of the championship. Still, Ryan Tyers a bit of an outsider for the title, but doing everything right so far, has taken the lead in the early stages. However, the series leader, Jim Lovell, is in second place. That's where he needs to be. Pearson drops to third after that good first lap. Looks like as the track dries out, certainly, one rider had a bit of a wobble on the edge of the top 10, but Pearson drops to third. Perhaps the drier conditions suiting Tyers and Lovell a little bit better, but we shall see. Buckle fourth, Lord in fifth place, Pearson, Davis in seventh, Med and Collymore ninth. Grieve rounding up the top 10 on the 65. Ben Ray a bit further behind. Then we've got Joe Milnes. Fast, exciting start to the race here. They all pile through, everyone staying out of trouble. Here they come down the back straight. There is Joe Woodward in the midfield. They're currently moving up. He's had a good start, actually, has the number 46 of Joe Woodward, up to 14th on the first lap as we look at our race leader, number 55, Ryan Tyers. Tyers really needs his race victory to keep the championship alive, but unfortunately for him, his main rival is right behind him, the series leader in second place, Jim Lovell. And yet again, we have this factor here for the series leader, Lovell, of course. He's in second place. He'll lose some points to Ryan Tyers if things stay as they are. Wouldn't be the end of the world for him, though. He's got a bit of a cushion at the front, but as you can see, Lovell is looking to seize the advantage here, take the initiative as he goes down the inside of Tyers into the right-hander. And there's certainly no playing percentages here and gathering points. He's going for victory as yet again the championship leaders looking to take matters into their own hands, you would say. Tyers having a look down the inside. Here we go towards the back straight. Pearson still a little bit further behind in third place. Down the back straight they go. There goes Buckle in fifth place. Oh, rider hitting trouble in the midfield. Didn't quite catch the number, but the rider seems okay as Lovell has a look round the outside, tries to fight back on Ryan Tyers. Tyers holds on to the lead. Through the hairpins they go. Gets a bit more technical here. Pearson still there in third. Still Mick Lord from Buckle in fifth place. Michael Med, Pearson, Matt Davis, Chase Collymore ninth. Chris Grieve running up the top 10. It's still pretty much as you were in the top 10, although Michael Med has moved up a few places on the treble 7. Let's have a look at 97 here. Lovell in second, just trying to find a way through. He doesn't have to get through here. The championship is very much in his favour at the moment. 420 points going into this race, as opposed to the 407 for Ryan Tyers, but certainly trying to get past Tyers here. Still there, isn't he? Third position, the 53 of Billy Pearson. The top three breaking away somewhat now. There goes Mick Lord. John Buckle, Michael Med, who's looking strong, the treble 7, making his way through. Chase Collymore's on the move as well. He's up to 7th. Chris Grieve, Daniel Pearson drops to 9th. Matt Davis in 10th. Joe Woodward, Ben Ray, Joe Milnes a bit further behind. Ben Nixon, Alan Armstrong in 15th place. Scott McGibbon, Tommy Fielding, Sebastian Barron, Ian Rogerson. They're all fighting their way through. There's Chase Collymore battling with the 65 of Chris Grieve. Grieve tries the outside. Collymore's got the line though. He holds on to 7th place. Down the back straight goes Grieve, and look at Collymore tucking in as much as he can for streamlining down the back straight as he tries to pull away from Chris Grieve. And of course Chase Collymore, a relatively young rider, so perhaps has the weight advantage on the straight. He certainly used that to good effect at Three Sisters. Looking strong in this race so far, but coming under some real pressure from the 65 of Chris Grieve. Grieve switches his line to the outside. Has to be careful there not to lose the front wheel. It's drying out there all the time. Grieve just switching his line, trying to find a way through. Collymore nice and smooth through the hairpins though. Making life difficult here for the 65 of Chris Grieve as they make their way back towards the finish once again. Jim Lovell still leading from Ryan Tyers. Oh no, Jim Lovell's through into the lead, I should say. A bit further ahead. Ryan Tyers second. Billy Pearson, here's the leaders once again. And as you can see, Jim Lovell has got through into the lead, but he can't shake off Ryan Tyers. Lovell with the fastest lap of the race, 1:17.730, but these riders at the moment matched on pace, but look out for the 53 and third Billy Pearson as a rider goes down. Is that the same one that went down before, I believe? Oh, and look at Lovell trying to get through on the chicane there. Just ran out of track and has to settle with second place. Tyers holds on to the lead. So Tyers back into the lead now. Ryan Tyers needs his victory to keep the championship alive. He'll be hoping perhaps that Pearson get involved in this one as well. The 53 in third place. Take some points off Lovell in second possibly. But certainly on Jim Lovell's part in second, he's got the championship in his hands at the moment. He just needs to stick onto the back wheel of Ryan Tyers, but he's certainly looking at him here. Looks like he's going to go back through and try and get the victory. There is the stricken rider, 57, I believe, on the bike. But as you can see, rider appears to be okay. Here we go, back to the leaders. Tyers still leads, but look how close Jim Lovell is into the top corner. Again, they've got to be careful of that wet patch on the outside. Both riders missing that damp part of the track. Pearson still, was a little bit squirrely through the chicane there for Jim Lovell in second place. Billy Pearson third, still there. The top three really breaking away now. Mick Lord in fourth place, 10 seconds adrift of this battle for the lead. Here they come down the back straight. Billy Pearson's found some pace now. He's getting involved in this one. There he is, the 53. Through the chicane they go. That fast sweeping back straight section. Starting to close up on slower riders now. Could that play a part? Just over 2 laps to go. Slow rider moves to one side to let the leaders through. Big track here at Teeside, of course. So back markers may not play as much of a factor as they would on other circuits. Longest karting circuit in the UK here at Teeside. And certainly a great finale for this last round of the Rich Energy British Mini Bikes Championship. And this Parker Racing Pit Bike Stock 140 race is still wide open with 2 laps to go. Ryan Tyers still leads the race. Second in the championship, the leader of the series in second place. 97 Jim Lovell, who fights back round the outside into the top corner. Nice move. Now, can he make it stick? Takes the inside. Got to be careful on the outside line here in this top corner. Pulls it tight and makes the move stick. So Lovell, your new race leader. Good news then for Jim Lovell. Wouldn't quite be enough to secure the title, but certainly would put him in the driving seat, as it were. Down the back straight they go. Tyers is not giving this one up, though. Here they come through the chicane for the penultimate time. You can't write off Billy Pearson in third either. He's still very much in this one, and as the 2 riders in front battle, Pearson has ever so slowly closed up, and he could yet take victory. Just over 1 lap to go. Tyers glances over the shoulder. He knows that Pearson's there. Tyers, on his part, has got to make a move now. He's got to get ahead of Jim Lovell, really. Lovell very much with the advantage at the moment. 97, the series leader. Ideally needs to finish ahead of Ryan Tyers. Wouldn't be the end of the world if he didn't, but there, a bit further back, there was the number 6, Lee Donson, a bit further behind as well. Top of the circuit now, some of the midfield battles here. We've got Tommy Fielding, Sebastian Barony and Rogerton a bit further behind. In 19th place, Scott McGibbon. There's the 91 of Danny Cohen going through. 151 as well. Darren Hall goes through. He's moved up to 28th position. Nathan Smith. And the 08 just a bit further behind. These riders may be closed up by the leaders on the final lap. It's at the moment a clear track in front as Jim Lovell holds on to the lead. It's going to be very important now for Ryan Tyers to get through as they encounter a slow rider on the back straight. Not too sure if he knows the riders are approaching as Tyers has a look through that sweeping chicane. Lovell nips to the inside, gets past the slower rider. Tyers still there in second, as does Pearson. Pearson's very much involved in this one still. Hovering on the back wheel of Ryan Tyers. Here they come towards the final few corners into that long right-hand bowl corner for the last time. Lovell guards the inside line. You can see the pressure really on Ryan Tyers now. He's got to get ahead of Lovell. But there we see Lovell just guarding that apex. Tyers switches to the outside. Here they come on the exit now. Tyers has got the drive on the exit of the corner. Oh, it's going to be close to the finish line here. Lovell down the inside and will take the checkered flag by the finest of margins. Just under 0.2 of a second. Billy Pearson, he could set the fastest lap of the race close on there as well, but Billy Pearson takes third by 0.3 of a second. Very close indeed between those top 3 riders. And we almost have to wait an age for the 4th to come through. Such was the pace of those 3 leaders. It's the 69 of Mick Lord finishing in 3rd place. John Buckle in 5th. Chase Collymore up to 6th on the final lap from Matt Davis. Oh, and look at this on the edge of the top 10. It's too close to call. Chris Grieve in 8th place. Daniel Pearson 9th will pick up 10th. as soon as we can. Alan Armstrong 11th, Joe Woodward, Ben Ray, Michael Med, Joe Milnes, Tommy Fielding. It's almost as quick as that. Ben Nixon in 17th place. There goes Ian Rogerson, Sebastian Barron and Scott McGibbon rounding out the top 20. And once again, though, we were saying a few moments ago, where back markers not so much of a factor on this long Teeside circuit. So nice to be joined by Peter Hickman, who went through all the action with O'Varley. We move on to our penultimate race of the block and of the season, of course. It's the Parker Racing Pit Bike Stock 140 race number 2, and let's have a look at how they line up. Billy Pearson on pole this morning from Reece Stevenson, Jim Lovell 4th, Ryan Tyers, Chase Collymore in 6th position. 7th place was John Buckle, Mick Lord, Michael Med and Daniel Pearson rounding out the top 10. Matt Davis, Joe Milnes in 12th place. 13th for Ben Ray, Ben Nixon in 14th, Chris Greaves, Sebastian Barron 16th, Scott McGibbon, Jake Hopper in 18th place. 19th for Joe Woodward, Ian Rogerson, Tommy Fielding a bit further back as the race gets underway. Right on cue, and a good start for the 53 of Billy Pearson. Fast, furious start to the race here. Everyone jostling for position, but doesn't appear to be any trouble on those first few corners. Into the top corner they go. So still a few raindrops out there. It could potentially get a bit slippery. Of course, the O'Varley riders were on the wet tyres. Most of the adults in this pit bike class, as you watch them go through, you can tell by looking pretty much all still on slick. So let's hope that the rain doesn't come down too much. It can get potentially get very slippery. So Jim Lovell looking to grab the victory and grab the title with it. This is pretty much our last title to be decided for 2020. Don't forget, of course, that the presentations will be taking place a little later on this afternoon, right here on Alpha Live. So stay tuned after the racing, and we'll have the presentations just a little bit later on this afternoon. As we look at Ryan Tyers and Jim Lovell coming into this championship round. Of course, Jim Lovell was on 420 points, Ryan Tyers on 407. Oh, it's getting close there as Tyers has a look down the inside of Lovell. So a big shout out there to Peter Hickman, who came to watch the O'Varley racing with us, and really great to marvel at some of the skills of those young riders. Don't forget, of course, they are only around 10, 12 years old, very young riders. And who knows, they might go on to bigger things or enjoy some of the splendours of the pit bike action here. Of course, there's some very experienced club and riders out here in the pit bike class, some very experienced riders and some great racing as we watch the 53 of Billy Pearson. Now, Pearson was very quick in the morning qualifying on what was a damp track. It's not really as wet as it was this morning, but it's certainly getting a bit treacherous, and Pearson seems to be coping well with the conditions. We've had a few raindrops out there. It is very windy, so one would hope if there is any rain, it'll just blow through rather quickly. Pearson looking strong at the moment. Ryan Tyers needs every point he can in terms of the championship. Has a look down the inside of Pearson, gets the front wheel in there and makes the move stick. So Ryan Tyers is your new race leader. Pearson drops to second. And just watching the footage here from that camera at the bottom of the track, the bikes just look a little bit twitchy in the corners. I don't know if that's just the speed through there, or if it's whether it is a bit slick out there. I don't know. We shall keep an eye on that. It is certainly raining here at Teeside, only slightly. It's a few drops of rain. Hasn't really become anything too substantial at the moment. The rain is forecast later on for today, so let's hope it stays away until the racing's done. Perhaps some riders will be hoping for the opposite. It's always difficult conditions, different conditions to different riders. Ryan Tyers, meanwhile, has taken the lead, so Pearson second, Lovell third. Further back is Mick Lord, Michael Med, Chase Collymore and Matt Davis. That's by the fourth place rider very shortly. Daniel Pearson, Chris Greaves, John Buckle 11th place, Joe Woodward, Joe Milnes, Ben Ray 14th position, Tommy Fielding rounding up the top 15, Alan Armstrong just a little bit further behind. Ryan Tyers tries to break away here. We really want Jim Lovell to drop some points in this one if he's got any hope of grabbing the title, but at the moment it looks like, well, I'd say Jim Lovell should be okay in that third place. It's all really closely fought at the front here as Pearson just loses a little bit of ground to Ryan Tyers, who tries to break away at the front. 5 laps to go in this one. This is the penultimate race of the 2020 championship. The Brap Bike Super Minis coming up next to round out the action. But still plenty going on the track here. Here's the 777 of Michael Ment, closely followed by Chase Collymore, Matt Davis, Daniel Pearson, Chris Grieve in there as well, taking us down to the top 10. There goes John Buckle up the straight. He's currently 11th place. Joe Woodward and Ben Ray closely followed. So this battle here on the edge of the top 10 as they make their way to the top of the circuit, very closely boys. There's Daniel Pearson, 77, trying to find a way past Matt Davis, who ran very well in the vets. Oh, Davis a little bit squirrely out of that top corner, loses the momentum, and as you can see, 1 or 2 raindrops starting to fall. Well, I wouldn't like to speculate. I think that he just seemed to lose grip there, the 110 of Matt Davis, a little bit squirrely out of the corner, and that has lost him a little bit of momentum there. You keep seeing these raindrops coming down, and 1 or 2 riders just the front or the back end just stepping out slightly. As, oh, nice little move there down the inside for Michael Med on Chase Gollum. Oh, but right on cue, he goes right off the track, and the unfortunate Michael Med is perfectly okay, gets straight back on the bike. That was a lovely move right until the point he fell off, but he's okay, and straight back into the race. But look at this, you can see now the rain, which we were fearing was starting to come down in more quantity. And of course these riders are on slick tyres, so this is going to be a treacherous final 4 laps. And there you can see, look at that camera footage there, it really gives you an idea of how much it's raining outside. All of a sudden it's come in. As we said, we were hoping it'd stay away, but already we'll look at the lap times as they come through. The riders having to really be careful with these conditions. You can see bikes a bit more ginger into the corners now. Tyres still leads, another rider goes down, seems to be okay. To the top, I wonder if that's the 4th place rider. Quite possibly, we'll check the lap charts in a few moments as they still charge down the back straight, carrying a lot of speed through there. Oh, and look at Collymore and Pearson neck and neck through the chicane. Oh, and the unfortunate Collymore goes down a slow speed tumble in the hairpin. This is what was happening in the morning on that hairpin. It's the grip just goes without warning almost, but Collymore's okay. He'll get back into the race, losing a few positions. There was the number 15 of Joe Milnes, so Collymore down in around, I think still about 16th, 17th place. Now could this play a factor in the championship? Of course, Ryan Tyers leads. Jim Lovell leading the championship, currently in 3rd place, but look how treacherous it is now. 3 laps to go. So at the moment, Jim Lovell's just got to play it safe here, just stay out of trouble, try and avoid coming off the machine by all costs, because look how slippery it's getting out there. And as we mentioned before, it's been a dry track pretty much all day. It was damp in the morning practice and the qualifying sessions, dried out quite nicely, but as it was mentioned before on the social media, if it rains here in the middle of a race, it just turns potentially, as with any track really, into an ice rink. You've got the rubber on the racing line, and it could be a case of just switching your lines here, looking to change get an idea. The rider's starting to cope now with the conditions, just easing off slightly on some of the corners. We saw Chase Collymore go down, just shows how easily it can happen on those hairpins. But the race still goes on, and on the whole they're coping well. There's the 77 of Daniel Pearson, who's moved steadily through the field, goes up to 5th position. We had a few riders dropping out of contention. Ben Ray dropped a few positions, Chase Collymore as well. Jake Marsh dropped a few positions in the midfield. So that rain shower passing through, riders coping well with the conditions. One more race to go after this, of course, is the Super Minis, as we look at the number 556. The 131 Scott McGibbon in there as well in the midfield. So the riders coping well here. There's number 15 in there as well, Joe Milnes. We've got Tommy Fielding. This battle just on the edge of the top 10. Alan Armstrong in there as well with Joe Woodward. 2 laps to go and very close at the edge of the top 10. At the front, the 53 of Billy Pearson's gone back into the lead. Oh, as another rider goes down just past the finish line. Just the back end stepped out. Rider okay, it would appear. Wade Yellow's Here they come to the top corner, so Billy Pearson back into the lead. He does seem to like the conditions. There's the 46, that's the rider who went down. So that's Joe Woodward, who was in 8th place. Hopefully he's okay. Look at Chase Collymore though. He dropped the bike earlier on back. Oh, he dives down the inside of the 162 there. No quarter given. And Collymore really is on a charge here with 2 laps to go. There's the number 99 of Alan Armstrong leading the pack down the back straight. Armstrong currently in 9th place as Collymore fights back, goes alongside Tommy Fielding. So that should mean that Collymore's up to 12th place. Fielding was in 12th, well, even 11th now, of course, because we lost Joe Woodward at the start of the lap. There's the number 20 of John Buckle, who should have gone up to 9th, I believe, but it's very close on the edge of the top 10. As Billy Pearson goes through, he's taken the lead in these closing stages. Ryan Tighe second, Jim Lovell just crossing the line. The lead is up to the top of the circuit now. Daniel Pearson, there's the number 20 of Buckle. Here's the leaders now, though. Here is Pearson. Was very quick on the damp circuit in the morning qualifying, took pole position. We don't want to say struggled in the first race because he still ran very well, but didn't quite have the advantage in the first race. But now the conditions have gone a bit more treacherous. He's stormed back to the front here, looking to lead the race, goes flying. Look at how quick they're going through the chicane there, even though it's a bit slippery out there. They're still carrying the speed. So Pearson back into the lead. Tyres trying to get through. Tyres needs this win to try and get a hold on the championship, but it looks like it's going the way of Jim Lovell in the 140 class. Billy Pearson through that right-hander for the final time, guards the inside line. He's just going to try and force Tyres wide, not leave that gap on the inside, which he does. Oh, and Tyres takes full advantage. Ryan Tyres through into the lead. So Pearson trying so hard to shut that door, he couldn't quite get down the inside quick enough. And Ryan Tyres with 2 corners to go, but Pearson fights back. Here they come over the line. Oh, and it's close. Ryan Tyres takes the checkered flag by 0.3 of a second. Incredibly close finish to the race. Pearson has to settle for second, just a bit unlucky there, couldn't quite shut the door, and Tyres took full advantage. And what's nice to see, of course, the 2 rivals, always a good sense of camaraderie here at British Mini Bikes, and they shake hands and discussing notes there at the finish. Jim Lovell, who I believe will be the champion, finishes in 3rd place, 13 seconds adrift. Just goes to show what a competitive race that was at the end. Pearson 4th, Grieve in 5th, Davis in 6th, Lord 7th, Collymore through to 8th from Armstrong, and Med rounding out the top 10. So what a race to round things off.